Tonight, I want you to imagine you're all alone in your house. The doors are locked, the lights are off, and somewhere, in the silence, something is listening to you breathe. These are 3 true stories about people who thought being home alone was safe, until they realized it wasn't. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and don't say I didn't warn you. Our first story comes from a listener named Emily, who still can't sleep in a house with a basement even years later. It was a rainy Saturday night. Emily was 14 and begged her parents to let her stay home alone while they went to a wedding 2 towns over. She loved the idea of freedom pizza, scary movies, texting her friends without anyone watching over her shoulder. But around midnight, after binging horror movies, she heard a sound she couldn't explain. A soft, dull thump coming from beneath her living room floor. She muted the TV. There it was again. Thump, thump, then a pause. She tiptoed to the basement door, her heart hammering. She pressed her ear against the door and something knocked back. Emily screamed and stumbled backward. She grabbed her phone, 0 bars, no signal in the storm. She dialed 911 anyway, but the call failed. The knocking grew louder, faster, then stopped. For a few seconds there was silence before a slow, scraping sound echoed up the basement stairs, getting closer and closer. Terrified, Emily shoved a chair under the doorknob and hid in her room, clutching a baseball bat she barely knew how to swing. All night, she heard scratching and faint banging. When her parents returned at dawn, they found the basement door splintered, as if something had tried to force it open from the inside. Police found muddy footprints, human footprints leading from a broken basement window into the woods behind the house. They never found who or what had visited Emily that night. Emily never stayed home alone again. If you're still watching this in the dark, you're braver than most. Tap subscribe now. I drop true horror stories every week. Ready for the next nightmare? Home alone is meant to feel safe, but for some people, the danger waits right outside their window. Our next true story comes from Kevin, and after hearing it, you might never sleep near your window again. Kevin grew up in a rural farmhouse at the edge of the woods. No neighbors for miles, just thick trees and open fields. One winter night, Kevin's parents left for a family emergency, leaving him home alone for the first time at 16. He didn't mind. He made himself a late dinner and settled on the couch to watch TV. Around 2 a.m., with a blizzard swirling outside, he noticed the living room window frosting up. He got up to check the draft, and that's when he saw it. A pale, distorted face pressed against the glass from the outside. Get eyes wide, frozen grin and nose nearly flattened against the pane. Kevin's heart stopped. He flipped on the porch light and the face vanished. He convinced himself it was the storm, a trick of the shadows. He sat back down, turned up the TV to drown out the storm until he heard it again. A faint scraping, like nails dragging down the siding of the house. Then a soft tapping on the back window. Kevin didn't dare move. He sat frozen until sunrise, eyes locked on the window, half expecting that face to appear again. When his parents came home, they found barefoot footprints in the snow, circling the house again and again. No one knows how anyone could survive outside in that blizzard. But Kevin swears some nights, decades later, he still hears faint tapping at his window, even though his bedroom is on the 2nd floor now. Sometimes, you don't see the danger outside your house. Sometimes it's already inside. Our final story tonight comes from Sarah, and if you live in a single-story house, you might not sleep easy after this one. Sarah had always been terrified of being alone at night. She lived in a one-story suburban home with her parents and younger brother. When her parents decided to take a weekend trip to visit family, Sarah convinced herself she was old enough to handle a couple nights alone. The first night would find movies, snacks, video calls with friends to keep her company. But on the second night, around 1 a.m., she woke up to a faint thumping sound above her bed. She lay still, blinking in the darkness. Thump, thump, then a long, dragging noise. The thing is, her house had no upstairs, just a low attic used for storage. Sarah told herself it was probably a raccoon or a squirrel. She turned on some music to drown it out and forced herself back to sleep. But at 3 a.m., she woke up again. This time, the sound was clear, distinct footsteps slowly pacing above her room. Then they moved down the hallway ceiling, stopping above her brother's empty room. Then back above hers. Heart hammering, Sarah quietly dialed her neighbor, Mr. Peterson, a retired cop who lived next door. He arrived 10 minutes later, flashlight and baseball bat in hand. He opened the attic hatch and found a filthy sleeping bag, empty snack wrappers, and muddy footprints on the beams. Whoever had been living in Sarah's attic had slipped out while she waited for help through a back vent. Police never found them, and Sarah never spent another night home alone to this day. She leaves a radio playing softly every night, so she never has to hear the footsteps if they come back. Did you survive all 3 stories? I dare you to share your own true horror experience. Check the description below for my email. Maybe your nightmare will be next on this channel. Don't forget to like, comment on Never Sleeping Alone Again, and subscribe for more horrors lurking in the dark.